Welcome back, friends. Today I'm making one of my favorite summertime meals, chicken shawarma. To get started, I went to the Publix and picked up some boneless, skinless chicken thighs, and we need to kind of quarter these and make these into some nice shapes. So without further ado, you can buy chicken breasts that without being boneless, skinless, and just process it from there, but this just makes it a whole lot easier. You can tell I'm just kind of taking these and making them into little cubes and throwing them in a bag to be marinated. I'm kind of leaving all the fat and stuff on. If there's anything that's kind of ugly, I'll remove it, but fat's flavor, and a lot of it's going to cook out when we start grilling them. Definitely try to want to keep them being equal in consistency so they all cook at the same time. And this recipe, it's enough for a family. It's just me and Rachel here, so we'll definitely have leftovers. It's a big old thigh right there. And it doesn't take very long. You can just kind of work through it pretty quickly. And on to the last one. Another big boy. Okay, that's all done. This is gonna hang out and I'm gonna get cleaned up and then we'll work on the marinade. Okay, I have all my spices out here and I need to cut up some garlic real quick. This is just a wonderful little recipe. Ton of flavor. It's one that I often cook for friends. There was a period during COVID where that was just nothing. We probably had it at least once a week. It's a nice healthy meal. Has a ton of flavor. It's pretty cheap to make compared to so many other recipes that are out there. I'm really surprised at how sharp this knife is. I used my good knife to process the chicken in. We're not looking for a super fine chop here, just kind of rough so that you don't get too big of a piece. Like this is all gonna cook when we actually put it on the grill, so I'm not too worried. Go ahead and cut my lemon up. I'm gonna add this garlic to a small bowl. Perfect. Okay, so the base for this marinade is cumin, cardamom, and coriander, the 3 C's. And so we'll just mix these in. The next set of spices you can kind of play with depending on how you're feeling or how you're cooking it. I'm just going to use regular paprika, but if you're cooking on a stove or inside, I would do smoked paprika. It gives it a little bit more smoky flavor. Kind of brings the grill inside. I'm using chopped red pepper flakes. You can also use cayenne pepper here, and you can really spice it up as much as you would like to. And then I'm going to do a little bit of cinnamon. All right. Then we need a couple of tablespoons of lemon juice, and I'm not really terribly worried about the seeds. They tend to fall off when you're grilling, so all right, great. Now we need about 3 tablespoons of olive oil. Perfect, that may be more than 3, I don't know. Okay, but now we just mix it up. Beautiful, look at that color. It's hard to beat. All right, so let's take our processed chicken and we're just gonna pour it over it. Take it, paper. Get as much of the air out of it as you can, and we're gonna work this marinade in. Making sure we get every piece covered. Spice is the spice of life. Whatever that means. All right. Come on, just a little bit more. Okay, cool. So now this is just gonna sit in the refrigerator at least an hour. You can do it up to overnight. Of course, the longer the better. We're having this for lunch, and so it'll just be a couple hours. Marinating time for this, and just throw it in the refrigerator. Chicken shawarma just wouldn't be anything without some tzatziki sauce, so that's what we're gonna do next. I have all my ingredients here for the tzatziki sauce, and it's just really a yogurt sauce. I'm using whole milk yogurt because we're gonna also make some naan bread, and the whole milk just performs better in it. So I got about 1.5 cups of yogurt. I'm gonna do a little salt. We do a little pepper. I'll throw some cumin in there. I always like throwing a little paprika in almost everything. Paprika or cayenne peppers. Has to be one of my favorite spices. Come on. Now we need to grate some garlic. Let me cut this end off. And then spend 20 minutes peeling it. Cool. So I'm going to use almost this whole clove, but I've accidentally made it way too spicy from garlic before, so I'm going to be careful. Okay, there's almost the whole thing. In she goes, and then the last thing is a lemon. Brings a little bit of flavor. I am worried about the seeds this time, so if any gets in it, we'll pick them out. And that looks to be about a teaspoon. There's no garbage can back there. Okay, whatever. We're just gonna mix this up. Oftentimes there's cucumber in here, but I forgot a cucumber at the grocery store today, so it will be a cucumberless tzatziki sauce, which I don't even know if it's tzatziki sauce anymore, but it'll still be good. Yep, there's fire. Okay, I'm just gonna load this up into a mason jar. Cool, cool, cool. Put a lid on it, call it a day. Awesome. Now onto the naan. All right, I have all my ingredients here for the naan. So we're gonna start off and get this yeast blooming. It's gonna be 1 teaspoon, jingle bells, 1 teaspoon of sugar. That sugar is almost out, scraping the bottom of the bag. Okay. It's gonna be 2 teaspoons of yeast. I keep my yeast in a bag in the refrigerator, it just lasts longer. This recipe actually calls for just a little bit more, so I'm gonna maybe put about 1/4 teaspoon in there extra. Water needs to be 95, 100 degrees. If you start getting over 110, you can kill the yeast. So we're gonna let that sit there, let it bloom. We can get on to the rest of this stuff. I forgot my flour. I'm gonna need 2 1/4 cups of flour. Get that added. Cool, cool, cool. Oh, need the 1/4. That was just 2. And 1/4. Cool. And this is why I love this bread so much. The yogurt, it provides like this little tangy taste to the bread, which just really makes it sing. Cool, cool, cool. Nice. We've got one last thing, and that's the salt. And we're gonna need 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Great. Now we're just gonna wait for this yeast to finish blooming, and then we'll get it mixing. I normally make this bread in a stand mixer because I'm a lazy bread maker, but do it for YouTube by hand, I guess. Okay, we're just gonna mix everything in a bowl now. Take this yogurt, ooh. Take this yeast. Get all of them in there. We're just gonna mix until it starts turning to a shaggy dough, and then we'll probably change to it by hands. I can already smell the yogurt in it. Oh, so good. That's pretty good. Let's turn this out over here. I'm just gonna keep pulling it together until we get all the flour incorporated. It's not a really wet dough, so you got to do a little work. That's why I normally like the stand mixer, because it does all the work for you. This is good enough for this. I'm gonna make it into a ball. My main pan. All right, put a little olive oil in the bottom of your pan. Take your dough ball. Make sure the outside of it's all covered, and then I'm gonna have to go get a towel. Towel required. It's okay. Just cover it. We're gonna put it in a warm area for at least an hour till it doubles in size, and then we'll start grilling and chilling. Out here, time to get the grill going. Gosh, okay. I know you can pull the little string, but I didn't want to sit here and fight with it the whole time. And go find a lighter. Found some matches. I got this grill. I moved back from Europe, and it has been one of the best things, but the little match lighter has gone out. All right, so we're just gonna let these coals get started. Should only take about a half hour for they're ready, and we can go back inside and get the rest of the stuff started. All right, we got the grill going. Time to skewer up our chicken. So the chicken's been going for about an hour. So I had my skewers, they've been soaking, and this is a delightful mess, but we're gonna go with it anyways. All right. Should make 2 or 3 skewers, but we're just gonna load up our meat. You can see it has a beautiful color now. These little dangly bits, they're all right. They're just gonna get extra char, which brings a lot more flavor to it as well. Little pieces of garlic. There's nothing better than biting into a grilled piece of garlic. Oh. So we're all skewered up, I'm all cleaned up, and so these are gonna go back in the refrigerator while we wait for the grill to start. Some rusty baskets in here. I'm gonna put these right on top. Close them up, and we wait. All right, let's give it a little flip, see what they look like. Yeah. We're looking for that nice little charring on there. We're taking them off the flames. They've got the color that I'm looking for. So we're just gonna let them finish cooking all the way through, and then we'll go start the naan. So here's Wes editing, realized that somehow the audio dropped out in these last 2 takes, so I apologize, and we're going to be doing a voiceover for that. You can see here that I'm cutting the dough up into about 8 equal pieces. After you have your dough portion, roll each of them into individual little balls, and we'll save those for later. I have a large non-stick pan on ripping heat. I'm going to roll out the portioned naan into as thin of a little pancake as I can. You can see that I'm flipping and turning as I'm rolling the naan out. Once your pan is up to temperature, transfer your rolled naan onto the pan, and this is my favorite part. You can kind of see the little bubbles starting to form on the naan. Once you get a bunch of bubbles, it's kind of an indicator that the naan's ready to flip. And so we'll flip it. You really want to keep the naan in the pan as much as possible. While one naan is cooking, I go ahead and prepare another piece of naan, rolling it out with the same technique. Once you remove the cooked naan from the pan, I kind of transfer it to a bowl, and then I coat it with a stick of butter. And once you have one done, you just repeat this over and over again for the 8 remaining pieces. Now on to plating. Cover your naan bread with a bunch of that yogurt sauce. It's everyone's favorite. Now put down as much meat as you like. I have some heirloom tomatoes and some nice lettuce. And then you just roll it up. I'm being fancy here and putting it in some parchment paper. And because this is for lunch, I'm making one for Rachel as well. Now it's time for everybody's favorite part. Especially mine. Mmm. So good and tasty. Nom 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 nom. And now I'm going on and on about how delicious and tasty and how you should make this because you should. And finally, if you like this video and you like me, remember to like and subscribe. And we'll see you next time.
Cool.